The first call came at 3 a.m. I ignored it. The second, third, and fourth calls followed in rapid succession, each one more desperate than the last. By the time my mother's hysterical voice filled my voicemail, I was already wide awake, staring at my phone with a familiar sense of dread. My name is Livia, and I knew exactly what this was about. Antonio's startup had finally imploded. Livia, please, you have to pick up. Your brother, we don't know what to do. My mother's voice cracked between sobs. I sat up in bed, wrapped in my IKEA comforter, and pressed play on the next message. This time, my father's stern voice. Young lady, this is an emergency. Call us back immediately. The final voicemail was from Antonio himself. Hey sis, we need to talk, like now. I waited until 8 a.m. to call them back. Professional courtesy, I told myself. Though really, I just wanted them to stew in their panic for a few hours. Livia, thank God, my mother answered on the first ring. We've been trying to reach you all night. I was sleeping, Mum, like normal people do at 3 a.m. This is no time for attitude. Your brother, his company, everything's gone. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Define everything. The investors pulled out, my father's voice cut in. They must have been on speaker. The whole company's bankrupt. Your brother put everything he had into it, and You what? My voice went flat. We helped him, of course. He's our son. But now... My mother's voice dissolved into tears again. How much? Silence. How? Much? Our retirement fund, my father finally admitted. All of it. I laughed. I couldn't help it. 5 years of warnings, of telling them Antonio's revolutionary app was just another messaging platform with emojis. 5 years of being called negative, unsupportive, jealous. Where's Antonio now? At our house, my mother sniffled. He's devastated, Livia. He hasn't eaten in days. Tragic, I muttered, padding to my kitchen to start the coffee maker. And what exactly do you want from me? Another pause. I could practically hear them exchanging looks. Well, my mother began carefully. We've been thinking. Your apartment? No. You haven't even heard my one-bedroom apartment? Where I live and work? No. It's just temporary, my mother pleaded. Until we figure something out. Your father and I can take the living room and... Antonio... Absolutely not. Livia, my father's voice hardened. This is your family. Exactly. My family, who just lost their entire retirement fund backing Antonio's third failed business venture. My family, who never once asked my opinion, despite my actual experience in tech startups. My family, who now wants to crowd into my 800-square-foot apartment because their golden child screwed up again. How dare you, my mother gasped. Your brother took a risk, tried to build something. With your money, not his. We're not asking, Livia, my father cut in. We're telling you, family takes care of family. I walked to my window, looking out at the city I'd built my life in, without their help. You're right. Family does take care of family. So where were you when I needed a co-signer for this apartment? Or when I was working 2 jobs through college? That was different. You've always been so independent. And now you want to punish me for it. My phone buzzed. Antonio was calling on the other line. Put him on the call, I said. A click and then, Liv, I know how this looks. Does it look like you burned through Mom and Dad's entire retirement fund on a messaging app that nobody wanted? You don't understand the market. I understand that you're all planning to move into my apartment without my permission. Don't be inhuman, Antonio snapped. Where else are we supposed to go? I let the silence stretch, feeling something cold and clear crystallize in my chest. Years of being the responsible one, the backup plan, the safety net. It ended today. I'll make arrangements, I said finally. Oh, thank God, my mother breathed. I knew you'd come through, sweetheart. We can be there by... I didn't say you could move in. I said I'd make arrangements. What's that supposed to mean? My father demanded. I smiled, though none of them could see it. It means I'll handle it. Isn't that what you always wanted? Reliable Livia, fixing everyone's problems. Livia, I'll call you back with the details. Don't come to my apartment. Don't call me at 3 a.m. And Antonio? What? He sounded sullen. Start packing up your desk. The investors aren't the only ones who know about the cooked books. I hung up before they could respond, my hands steady as I poured my coffee. For the first time in years, I felt completely in control. They had no idea what was coming. "You should have seen your brother's 6th grade talent show," my mother always told guests, her eyes misting over. "He played the most beautiful piano piece." I was stirring my coffee at work, the memory hitting me like a slap. Samantha, my closest friend and co-worker, noticed my expression darken. "Family stuff again." "Just remembering things," I said, dropping into my chair. "Did I ever tell you about my high school art show? The one where I won first place?" "No?" "Exactly. Because my parents didn't come." I pulled up my browser, starting to research tenant laws. They were at Antonio's baseball game. He struck out 3 times and quit the team the next day. Samantha rolled her chair closer to my desk. "Okay, spill. What happened with the 3 a.m. calls?" I filled her in on everything. The bankruptcy, the attempted invasion of my apartment, Antonio's latest failure. With each detail, her eyes widened. "They just expected to move in? All of them? Classic Antonio crisis protocol. He screws up, they swoop in, and somehow I'm the bad guy for not playing along." My fingers flew across the keyboard as I typed. "But not this time." "What are you looking up?" "Everything. Tenant laws, power of attorney, financial fraud reporting procedures." Samantha leaned in, lowering her voice. "Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?" "Depends. Are you thinking I should finally stop being the family doormat?" "Girl, I've been thinking that for years." She glanced at my screen. "But this looks serious." My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "Your father and I will be there Saturday with our things. Antonio needs a few more days to pack. Please make space in your closet for our clothes." I showed Samantha the message. Her jaw dropped. "They're not even asking anymore." "They never did." I started typing a response, then deleted it. You know what the worst part is? When I graduated college, summa cum laude, by the way, they skipped the ceremony because Antonio had a networking event. No way. He met some guy who promised to invest in his first startup, the smoothie delivery app. The one that lasted 3 months? That's the one. Cost them 20 grand. I pulled up an old photo on my phone. Me in my cap and gown, standing alone. I had to take the bus to my own graduation because they let Antonio borrow their car. Samantha grabbed my arm. "Livia, listen to me. You're not their backup plan. You're not their retirement fund. And you're definitely not their free hotel." "I know." I showed her my screen. "That's why I'm doing this?" She read the web page I'd pulled up, her eyes widening. "Holy shit, are you sure? Remember last Christmas, when Antonio announced his app was practically guaranteed to succeed, and my parents kept talking about how they'd never have to worry about money again? Yeah? I tried to warn them, showed them the market research, the competitor analysis. My father said I was just jealous of Antonio's vision." I laughed bitterly. Vision. He couldn't even code, hired some overseas developers who took one look at his specs and doubled their rate. My phone buzzed again, this time from my father. "We raised you better than this selfishness. Saturday, 9 a.m, be ready?" Samantha read the message over my shoulder. "They really think they can just force their way in? Yeah?" I started gathering my things. "I need to make some calls. Cover for me?" "Where are you going?" "To see an old friend of Antonio's. Someone who might be very interested in what happened to those investor funds." "Livia." Samantha looked concerned. "Whatever you're planning, they want me to make arrangements." I stood up, slinging my bag over my shoulder. "I'll make arrangements, just not the kind they're expecting." "And if they show up Saturday anyway?" I thought about all the missed art shows, the ignored achievements, the constant comparisons to Antonio, the way they dismissed every warning about his latest scheme, the decades of being treated like a backup plan instead of a daughter. Then they'll learn what happens when you push someone too far. I headed for the door, then paused. "Hey, Sam? Yeah? Remember that restraining order paperwork you helped your sister with last year?" She nodded slowly, understanding dawning on her face. "Think you still have a copy?" "I'll email it to you." I smiled, feeling that same cold clarity from this morning. Perfect. because something tells me I'm going to need it. As I walked to my car, my phone lit up with another message, this time from Antonio. "Mum's crying because of you? Hope you're happy?" I typed back 3 words before turning off my phone. Just getting started. Saturday morning, 8:57 a.m. I sat at my kitchen counter, phone propped up and recording, waiting. Right on cue, the pounding started. "Livia, open this door right now!" My father's voice boomed through the hallway. I took a sip of coffee, watching through my security camera as my parents stood outside, surrounded by suitcases. No Antonio in sight, probably still packing. "Young lady, we know you're in there." Another round of thunderous knocking. Mrs. Peterson from across the hall peeked out, then quickly shut her door. Other neighbours' blinds twitched. "I'm calling the police if you don't stop," I said loudly enough to be heard through the door. "Police?" My mother's voice cracked. "You'd call the police on your own parents?" "I would if they were trying to break into my apartment." "Break in?" My father sounded outraged. "We're your family." "Family who was explicitly told not to come here. Stop this nonsense and open the door." More pounding. I pressed record on my phone's voice memo app. "I am formally requesting that you leave my property. This is your first warning." "Warning?" My mother started crying. Her signature move. "Listen to how she talks to us, after everything we've done for her." "What exactly have you done for me?" I stood up, moving closer to the door. "Name one thing." "We raised you. You raised Antonio, I raised myself. Is that what this is about?" My father's voice dropped dangerously. "Jealousy of your brother? No, this is about boundaries, and your complete inability to respect them." A new voice joined the chaos. Mr. Rivera from the building management office. "Is there a problem here?" "Yes," my father started. "Our daughter is being harassed by unwanted visitors," I called out. "I have it all on video." "Mum?" Mr. Rivera addressed me through the door. "Would you like me to call security?" "Don't you dare," my mother wailed. "I carried her for 9 months. I was in labour for 16 hours. And I've been paying for it ever since." I checked my phone, still recording. "Last warning. Leave or I'm pressing charges for harassment." "Charges?" My father slammed his hand against the door. "I am your father." "Sir," Mr. Rivera's voice hardened. "If you don't step back, I'll have to—" "This is a family matter." "This is a tenant safety matter," Mr. Rivera corrected. "And I've already called security." My phone buzzed. A text from Antonio. "On my way. Don't do anything stupid." I texted back. "Too late. Already did something smart instead." "Livia, please." My mother was full on sobbing now. "Why are you doing this to us? Why do you hate us so much?" "I don't hate you. I just don't trust you anymore." "Trust?" My father scoffed. "We're not some strangers off the street." "No, you're worse. You're people who should love me unconditionally, but only value me when you need something." Heavy footsteps approached, building security. I heard Mr. Rivera explaining the situation. "Ma'am?" A new voice. Officer Torres, who I'd briefed yesterday. "Do you want to press charges?" My mother's crying reached new decibels. "Our own daughter, calling the police on us." "Yes," I said clearly, "and I have documentation of previous harassment." "This is ridiculous," my father shouted. "We're leaving, but this isn't over, Livia." "Actually, it is." I pulled out my phone and sent the email I'd prepared. "Check your inboxes. You've both been served with cease and desist orders. Come near my apartment again, and I'll file for a restraining order." Silence fell. I could picture their faces. My father's rage, my mother's theatrical devastation. "You wouldn't," my mother whispered. "Try me." More footsteps, running this time. Antonio's voice. "What the hell is going on?" "Your sister," my father spat, "has lost her mind." "No," I called out. "I finally found it, along with copies of all those creative accounting tricks you used with your investors, Antonio." Another silence, heavier this time. "You're bluffing," Antonio said, but his voice shook. "Want to risk it? Those SEC whistleblower rewards are pretty tempting." "Mum?" Officer Torres again. "Do you want us to escort them out? Please, and document everything." I watched through the security camera as they were led away. My father rigid with anger, my mother leaning dramatically on Antonio, who kept looking back at my door with something close to fear. When they were gone, I finally opened the door. Mr. Rivera stood there, concern etched on his face. "Are you okay, Miss Livia?" "Never better." I handed him an envelope. "For your trouble, and thank you." "Family problems are the worst kind," he said kindly. "They're not family anymore," I replied. "They're just people who forgot I stopped being their backup plan a long time ago." I closed the door, checked my security cameras one last time, and picked up my phone. Time to make that call to Dallas, and really get this revenge started. The bar was dimly lit and nearly empty when Dallas walked in. He looked exactly like his LinkedIn profile, tall, sharp-eyed, and carrying himself with the confidence of someone who'd made his first million before 30. "Livia?" He extended his hand. "Thanks for meeting me." "Thanks for agreeing to help." I gestured to the booth I'd chosen. Corner spot, away from others. "I've been waiting for someone to take Antonio down for years," he said, sliding into the seat. "Just didn't expect it to be his sister." Funny how life works out. I pulled out my laptop. I have everything documented. The investor meetings, the cooked books, the offshore accounts. Dallas held up his hand. "Before we get into that, tell me why you're really doing this." I paused. "Isn't wanting justice enough?" "Justice is filing a complaint with the SEC. You're going nuclear." He leaned forward. "What did he do to you?" "It's not what he did. It's what they all did." I took a sip of my drink. Every time he failed, I had to succeed twice as hard just to get half the recognition. "Tell me about AppShare." "His first startup, the one you were involved in?" Dallas's face darkened. "The one where he screwed me out of my shares and then tanked the company. He told everyone you backed out, that you got cold feet." I caught him falsifying user numbers. When I threatened to report it, he forged my signature on transfer documents. Dallas smiled grimly. "But I kept copies of everything." "That's exactly what I need." I opened my laptop. "Because this time, he didn't just screw over his investors. Your parents' retirement fund. I heard." He pulled out his phone, started forwarding emails. "You know, I always wondered why they enabled him. Because he's the son, the heir, the one who was supposed to take care of them in their old age." I laughed bitterly. "Instead, he's hiding in their house while I get screaming voicemails about being a heartless daughter." "Check your inbox." I refreshed my email. Dozens of documents appeared. Financial records, correspondence, legal notices. "Holy shit," I whispered, scanning them. "This is everything you need to bury him." Dallas signaled the bartender for drinks. "But are you ready for the fallout? This won't just hurt Antonio." They made their choice. They chose him, over and over. And now? Now I choose me. The bartender brought our drinks. Dallas raised his glass. "To karma." "To consequences," I corrected, clinking glasses. We spent the next hour going through documents, building a timeline of fraud and deception. With each revelation, I felt lighter, stronger. "You're smiling," Dallas observed. "Am I?" "First time since you walked in." He closed his laptop. "It looks good on you." "Thanks, I think." I gathered my things. "So what's next?" "I'll have my lawyer draft the cease and desist tomorrow. The restraining order might take a few days." "Already handled that part." I showed him the paperwork on my phone. He whistled. "You don't mess around." "Not anymore." "Listen," Dallas hesitated. "After this is done, would you want to grab dinner sometime? When there's less revenge plotting involved?" I looked at him, really looked. Saw someone who understood what it meant to be betrayed by family, to have to fight back. "I'd like that." My phone buzzed. A text from Antonio. "Mum's in the hospital, anxiety attack, hope you're proud of yourself." I showed Dallas the message. "Classic manipulation," he said. "What are you going to do?" I typed back. "Anxiety attacks don't require hospitalization. Nice try, though." "Damn," Dallas grinned. "Ice cold." I learned from the best. I stood up. "Ready to help me destroy my brother's life? Professionally or personally?" "Both." "Then let's do this right." He pulled out a business card, wrote something on the back. "My lawyer's direct line. Call her tomorrow. She's been waiting years to go after Antonio. Why didn't you do it yourself? Needed the right moment, the right ally. He met my eyes. Sometimes revenge is a dish best served by family. As I drove home, my phone lit up with messages. My mother. The doctors say my blood pressure is dangerously high. This is all your fault. My father. Your mother could have died today. I hope you can live with yourself. Antonio. You've killed her. You've finally done it. You've killed Mom. I pulled into my parking spot, feeling strangely peaceful. Opened my camera roll, found the photo from that morning. My mother, perfectly healthy, screaming at my door. Sent it to all three of them with one message. Miracle recovery incoming in 3, 2, 1. Then I turned off my phone, walked into my quiet apartment, and slept better than I had in years. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. Have you seen Antonio's Facebook post? Samantha burst into my office, coffee sloshing dangerously in her mug. I was already looking at it. The post had gone viral overnight. My sister, who I've protected and supported all her life, has shown her true colours. When our family needed her most, she not only abandoned us, but threatened legal action. She's cut off all contact with our devastated parents, who only wanted to be close to their children in their retirement years. Sometimes the most toxic people wear the mask of victims. He's really playing the martyr card, I muttered, scrolling through the hundreds of sympathetic comments. Your Aunt Rita shared it, Samantha said, grimacing, with some choice words about ungrateful daughters. My phone buzzed, another message from a distant relative. How could you do this to your own parents? They gave you everything. Everything except respect, support, or basic human decency, I typed back, then deleted it. Miss Livia? My boss, Robert, appeared at my door. Can we talk? I followed him to his office, already knowing what was coming. We've received some concerning feedback, he began carefully, about your family situation becoming a potential PR issue. You mean Antonio's smear campaign? Several clients have expressed worry about working with someone involved in a public family dispute. He shifted uncomfortably. Given your position in client relations, I understand. I pulled out my phone, opened my email. Would you like to see the actual documentation? Documentation. I forwarded him the file Dallas had helped me compile. My brother's history of financial fraud, including his latest venture, which bankrupted my parents. The police report from Saturday, when they tried to force their way into my apartment, the cease and desist order, and the evidence of his creative accounting that the SEC might find interesting. Robert's eyes widened as he scrolled. This is the truth, which I'm happy to make public if anyone questions my professional reputation. He cleared his throat. That won't be necessary. Just keep me informed if anything escalates. Back at my desk, Samantha was waiting with fresh coffee and a gleam in her eye. Remember my friend in PR? She has an idea. I'm listening. Those emails Dallas sent you, the ones showing Antonio's creative math with investor money. What if they accidentally leaked to a few financial bloggers? I smiled. Accidentally? Very accidentally. Through untraceable channels. My phone lit up again. A message from my mother. The neighbours won't even look at us anymore. Everyone knows what you've done. Good, I muttered, then turned to Samantha. Do it. Within hours, the first article appeared on a popular finance blog. Tech startup scandal. Investor funds misappropriated in family drama. Then another, AppShare founder accused of multiple instances of financial misconduct. By lunch, Antonio's name was trending, and not in the way he'd planned. Your brother's trying to contact you, Samantha said, showing me her screen. He made a fake LinkedIn profile. Block it. I was busy reading the latest blog post when my office phone rang. Unknown number. Livia speaking. You bitch. Antonio's voice shook with rage. You actually did it. You leaked those emails. I have no idea what you're talking about. I put him on speaker so Samantha could hear. But it sounds like you're having a rough day. They're freezing my accounts. There are lawyers calling. Mum can't stop crying. Still? I thought she was in the hospital with dangerous blood pressure. Miraculous recovery? This isn't a joke, he shouted. You've destroyed everything. No, Antonio, You destroyed everything. I'm just making sure everyone knows it. I'm coming to your office. That would be unwise. I kept my voice level. The restraining order includes my workplace. You can't hide behind legal papers forever. Watch me. I hung up, turned to Samantha. Call security. Tell them to expect my brother. Already done. She grinned. Want to watch from the lobby camera? We didn't have to wait long. Antonio stormed in 20 minutes later, face red, still wearing the same clothes from Saturday. Ma'am, the security guard's voice came through clearly on the feed. You're not authorized to be here. That's my sister's office. I need to... Sir, we have a restraining order on file. Please leave before we call the police. We watched him deflate, shoulders slumping. Tell Livia, he said to the camera he'd spotted, this isn't over. Actually, I whispered as he skulked away, it's just beginning. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Dallas. You're trending on Twitter. Dinner tonight to celebrate? I looked at Samantha, who was already nodding enthusiastically. Count me in, I typed back. I have a feeling we have a lot more to celebrate soon. The next article was already writing itself in my head. Local woman exposes years of family financial fraud. Now that had a nice ring to it. The knock on my apartment door came at exactly 7 p.m. Not the frantic pounding from before. This was different, defeated. Through the security camera, I saw my parents standing there, looking smaller somehow. No Antonio in sight. Livia? My mother's voice was hoarse. Please, just talk to us. I opened the door but kept the security chain on. You're violating the cease and desist. To hell with your legal papers, my father snapped, then immediately deflated. They're taking him to court. Who? Everyone. My mother's makeup was smeared. The investors, the bank, even that Dallas person you've been seeing. I wouldn't call it seeing, I said. More like collaborating. They're saying he could go to jail. My father's voice cracked. Our son. In jail. Actions have consequences. He's your brother. And I'm your daughter. Or did you forget that part again? My mother pressed her face against the gap in the door. We can fix this. Together. As a family. Family? I laughed. Now you want to be a family? We've always been... No, we haven't. I closed the door, then reopened it, this time stepping into the hallway. Let me tell you what we've been. They backed up, startled by my sudden emergence. We've been a support system for Antonio, a fan club for Antonio, a blank check for Antonio. I ticked off each point on my fingers. But we've never been a family. That's not true, my mother protested. We love you both equally. Really? Where were you when I graduated college? Silence. When I got promoted to lead designer? More silence. When I bought this apartment? When I won the industry award last year? We were busy, my father interrupted. Antonio always needed something, and I always needed to understand. I pulled out my phone, showed them the screen. But look what I found in his company records. They squinted at the document. My father went pale. That's our retirement account transfer. Notice the date. 3 months after he knew the company was failing, he took your money anyway. My mother started shaking her head. No, he wouldn't. He did. And now you're here. Not because you care about me, but because you need me to fix it. We don't need... Yes, you do. Because I'm the only one who can make the fraud charges go away. I smiled coldly. That's why you're really here, isn't it? They exchanged guilty looks. Please, my father said quietly. He's not perfect, but he doesn't deserve prison. And what do I deserve? More guilt? More manipulation? More responsibility for fixing his messes? We'll do anything, my mother whispered. Anything? They nodded desperately. I pulled an envelope from my back pocket. I did make arrangements, like I promised. My father took it with trembling hands. Inside were lease papers and a key. What is this? Your new home. 6 months paid in advance. Sunrise Haven Retirement Community. The trailer park. My mother's voice rose. 2 towns over. It's within your new budget, which, thanks to Antonio, is basically nothing. You can't be serious. Very serious. It's either that, or you can stay with Antonio in his cardboard box when the banks take your house. My father crumpled the papers. We won't accept this. Then enjoy homelessness. I turned back to my door. Oh, and Antonio's arrest warrant goes out tomorrow morning. Unless what? They both stepped forward. Unless you sign these. I produced another envelope. Agreeing to testify about his financial misconduct. Do that, take the trailer, and I'll ask them to go easy on him. You want us to testify against our own son. I want you to face reality. For once. They stared at the papers, then at each other. 30 years of enabling Antonio hung in the balance. We'll think about it, my father finally said. You have until 9 a.m. I opened my door. Choose wisely. Livia, my mother called as I stepped inside. When did you become so cold? I paused, hand on the doorframe. Around the same time you both became so blind. The door clicked shut behind me. Through the camera, I watched them shuffle away, lease papers trailing from my father's limp hand. My phone buzzed. A text from Dallas. Arrest warrants ready. Sure you want to go through with this? I thought about all the Christmases spent listening to Antonio's grand plans, all the family dinners celebrating his potential while my achievements gathered dust. Absolutely, I typed back. Time they learned what real consequences feel like. The next message was from Samantha. You okay? I looked around my quiet apartment. My space, my success, my life built without their help or approval. Never better, I replied. Never better. The Sunrise Haven retirement community looked exactly like its website photos. Rows of modest mobile homes, neat little gardens, and a community centre with a sagging bingo sign. I pulled into the parking lot at 8:55 a.m., watching my parents' car arrive right behind me. This is humiliating, my mother said as they got out. She was wearing her designer sunglasses, the ones Antonio bought her last Christmas. With stolen money, I now knew. It's this or nothing? I unlocked Unit 47. Everything's furnished, utilities included, food banks 10 minutes away. My father stood in the doorway, staring at the small living room. We can't live here. You can't live in my apartment either. I pointed to the kitchen. Fridge is stocked. Bathroom has supplies. Internet's basic but functional. Where's Antonio? My mother looked around nervously. He should be here. Right on cue. My phone buzzed. A text from Dallas. Police just picked him up. Want to watch the perp walk? Antonio's busy, I said, setting the house keys on the counter. Getting arrested, specifically. What? My mother collapsed onto the worn couch. But you said... I said I'd ask them to go easy on him if you signed the papers. I pulled them out. Did you? My father's hands shook as he reached for the documents. If we do this, you'll help him? I'll tell them you cooperated. Might knock a year or two off his sentence. Sentence? My mother started crying. Real tears this time, not the theatrical ones I'd grown up with. Please, Livia, he's your brother. And I'm your daughter. But that never mattered, did it? Silence filled the small trailer. Through the thin walls, we could hear the neighbour's TV, someone's wind chimes, a dog barking. This is your life now, I continued. No more luxury condos, no more fancy restaurants, no more writing blank checks for Antonio's dreams. How can you be so cruel? My mother whispered. Cruel? I laughed. You want to talk about cruel? Let's talk about every time you dismissed my achievements. Every time you drained your savings for Antonio's schemes while telling me to be more independent. Every time you... We get it, my father shouted, then immediately looked embarrassed by the trailer's echo. We weren't perfect parents. Perfect? You weren't even adequate. I pulled out my phone, showed them the news alert. Local tech entrepreneur arrested for fraud. My mother started sobbing harder. Sign the papers, I said. Tell the truth about what he did with your money, or don't, and watch him face the maximum sentence while you lose your house anyway. My father picked up the pen with trembling fingers. Linda, he said to my mother, we have to. She turned away as he signed, then added her own shaky signature. I collected the papers, then dropped a thick manila envelope on the coffee table. What's that? My father asked. Everything you need to know about your new life. Bus schedules, social services information, senior centre activities. I headed for the door. Oh, and your new phone numbers. New numbers? You'll need them. Antonio's going to be pretty angry when he finds out you testified against him. My mother's sobs turned to wails. My father just stood there, looking lost in the tiny kitchen. Welcome home, I said, opening the door. Try the bingo. I hear Wednesdays are exciting. Wait. My mother stumbled to her feet. That's it? You're just leaving us here? Like you left me. I turned back one last time. At least I gave you furniture. Outside, the morning sun was bright. My phone buzzed with another update. Breaking. Parents to testify against tech fraud son. I got in my car, watched in the rearview mirror as my father tried to comfort my mother through the trailer's window. They looked small, old, broken. Good. Dallas called as I pulled away. It's done. Antonio's being processed now. Your parents? Settling into their new life of poverty and regret. Harsh. Fair. A moment of silence. Then, want to get breakfast? Celebrate? I looked back at the trailer park one last time. Decades of pain, of being the responsible one, of watching them enable Antonio's destruction, all of it ending in this moment. Actually, I said, I want to go home. Sleep in, maybe watch some TV. Sounds perfect. It is. I smiled, turning onto the main road. It really is. My phone lit up one last time, a message from my mother. We're sorry. Too little. Too late. I deleted it without replying and drove away, leaving them to face the consequences of their choices, just like I'd faced mine, all those years alone. The morning news played quietly on my office TV as I packed up my old desk. Local tech entrepreneur sentenced to 5 years for investor fraud. Ready for the big move? Samantha leaned against my doorframe, grinning at the cardboard boxes. Almost. I carefully wrapped my industry award, the one my parents never acknowledged. Just a few more things. Still can't believe you're going to be my boss. Head of design has a nice ring to it. I smiled, remembering Robert's face when he announced my promotion. Though I'll miss sharing a wall with you. Please, I'm taking that corner office next to yours as soon as Jessica retires. My phone buzzed. A text from Dallas. Dinner tonight? Have news. Speaking of news, Samantha nodded at the TV. Have you heard from any of them? Antonio's lawyer tried to contact me last week. Something about a family reconciliation before he reports to prison. I taped up another box. I blocked the number. And your parents? Still in the trailer park, last I heard. Dad got a job as a night security guard. Mum's selling her designer clothes online. Do you ever regret it? Any of it? I paused, considering. You know what I regret? Not doing it sooner. My computer pinged, an email notification, from my mother's new address. Delete it, Samantha advised. No, I want to see. The message was short. Why? Just that one word. After everything, that's what she wanted to know. I clicked reply, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then I started typing, because you taught me that family means sacrificing everything for Antonio. So I sacrificed you. Send. Brutal, Samantha whispered, reading over my shoulder. Honest, I corrected. My phone rang. Dallas. Hey, I answered, putting him on speaker. Check your email. Just sent you something interesting. I opened his message. Inside was a forwarded email chain. Antonio's last-ditch attempt to start another company from prison. He's already trying to scam other inmates' families, Dallas explained, promising to make them rich once he's out. Some people never learn, Samantha muttered. Did you report it? I asked. Better. Sent it to his parole board. They're adding conditions to his release. No business ventures, no handling other people's money. I laughed. He'll hate that more than prison. That's not all, Dallas continued. Remember those investor emails you leaked? They're using them in business schools now. Case study in fraud detection. Perfect. I sealed the last box. His legacy will be teaching people how to catch guys like him. My office phone lit up. Reception. Miss Livia, there's a Linda and Darius here to see you. No, I said firmly. Tell them I'm in a meeting. They say they'll wait. Tell them I'm in meetings all day, and tomorrow, and every day after that. Samantha peeked out the window. They look rough. Your mum's wearing Target. Not my problem. I picked up a box. Ready to see your new office, head of production? Right behind you, boss. We took the back elevator, avoiding the lobby. As the doors closed, I caught a glimpse of my parents, aged, tired, broken, my mother clutching an envelope that probably contained apologies I didn't want to read. You okay? Samantha asked softly. Better than okay. I shifted the box in my arms. I'm free. My phone buzzed one last time. Dallas again. Still on for dinner? Thought we could celebrate your promotion and maybe talk about that house we looked at. I smiled, remembering the beautiful 3-bedroom we'd toured last weekend. The garden, the office space, the future it represented. Wouldn't miss it, I typed back. Samantha helped me arrange my new office. Corner view, executive desk, my name on the door. As we worked, I thought about Antonio in his prison cell, my parents in their trailer, all the years they'd spent undermining my success. Look, Samantha pointed out the window. My parents getting into their old car, shoulders slumped. They'll try again, she warned. Let them. I hung my award prominently on the wall. I've got better things to focus on. My computer chimed. An email from Robert. Congratulations on the promotion. Your vision for the department is exactly what we need. Looking forward to seeing what you accomplish. I sat at my new desk, looking out over the city. Somewhere out there, my family was learning to live with the consequences of their choices, just like I was living with mine. The difference was, I could finally smile about it. Ready for the department meeting? Samantha asked. I stood up, straightened my jacket, and headed for the door. Ready for everything,